Coming up, we'll see Ron Rivera return to Carolina. Washington faces the Panthers for the second straight season, as Rivera hopes to even up his record against his old team. Next.
EA Sports coverage of the National Football League is in uptown Charlotte, North Carolina at Bank of America Stadium. Just a few moments ago, this building was shaking as the Carolina Panthers emerge from the tunnel here in Charlotte. They are ready to go as the Panthers are set to match up with the Washington football team. Alongside my broadcast partner, Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. And, CD, this is a passing league. I don't think you would argue that thought. But our ball game here features a couple of teams with strong offensive lines that really like to work the ground game.
And you and I have both heard from different people in the league who's saying that it's becoming a little bit of a lost art in the NFL, the ability to run the football. And we've heard from defensive coordinators who tell us that they play the pass first. That's not something you normally hear. But these two offenses, they're true to who they are. Both ranked in the top 5 in terms of rushing yardage. I think they're both going to use those massive offensive lines to try and wear down these defenses.
Season has hit high gear, and off we go in Week 11 on EA Sports. From just inside the 20, a short kick, and they will wrangle it down a couple yards shy of the 30. So here are the Panthers now for their opening drive. They'll be led out by the 2015 NFL Most Valuable Player in his 11th season in the league, 32-year-old Cam Newton.
Would you say that last week's performance by him, workmanlike in terms of numbers?
1 touchdown, 1 pick, but obviously a loss.
Yeah, that's the bottom line for him. All he cares about is how do we find a way to win the game. Maybe leans on a few other parts of the offense, and hopefully springs a receiver.
Trying to get it to Anderson, but it's intercepted. Picked off by Cameron Curl. And this return is going to be halted right around the 28-yard line. So here's Washington now in excellent field position to start things out. They'll be led out by their 4th-year man from Houston. It's Kyle Allen.
And what he's thinking about right now is first down, let's find a way to make a big play. Because when you get a sudden change situation and that defense has to rush onto the field unexpectedly, you might catch them having a defensive breakdown or not quite prepared.
And it was really sudden after the first play picked off. And he'll get this one down to about the 27. The numbers on the ground for Gibson a week ago. He was creeping up toward 200 yards, thought he was going to get there, didn't quite make it, but also 2 rushing touchdowns.
And even if he only got about half those numbers this week, his team would take it in a heartbeat, wouldn't they? Because last week, he was spectacular.
They follow up the first down 1-yard run with a minimal gain of 2. In danger of squandering their great field position as they come up on a 3rd and 7. Looking and finding Thomas in the end zone. Touchdown, Washington. Logan Thomas, his 5th touchdown now on the year. And Washington has taken a first-quarter lead.
If you didn't know it, it won't surprise you to find out that this team leads the league in scoring. They've been a quick strike team all season long. There's another example. They did it again. This offensive coordinator, right now he can write his ticket towards being a head coach. He's advanced in the ways of offense.
The extra point by Sly is up and good, and it's now a 7-0 game. Scoring summary, 3-play drive, and the result, a touchdown for Washington. The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. On the return, here comes Amir Abdullah. And he won't get this to the 20-yard line as he's down at the 19. The Panthers and Cam Newton getting set to go again here on offense. And he'll need to find a way to shrug off the opening drive, if you can even call it a drive. 1 play and an interception, so he's got to forget that.
I know that in today's football, We have a good number of coaches who don't look at time of possession the way that the old school guys did. But there's still a place for it. And I think that on this drive, after having thrown that interception, they're going to want to eat up a little bit more clock and run some offense and give their defense a little bit of a break.
Play action. It's Newton. Trying to fit it into Moore, but it's intercepted. Picked off by Cameron Curl. And they get the football. They'll set up shop at their own 39-yard line. What a great start. You get the points on the first drive of the game. Now here you get an interception. Look to add to your lead.
And I just wonder about the strategy we saw coming right back at them. Yeah, they're down, but I felt like they were pressing it too much. They didn't need to play catch-up this early in the game, and it ended up costing them.
Now Washington going to retake the field for drive number 2. And it's only November, but the playoffs, we know how it works. They'll be here before you know it. If it ended today, they would be the number 1 seed.
And that's a great spot to be in, but I love the phrase, if it ended today. And I'll guarantee you, that's what they've discussed in their locker room, in their meeting rooms. Yeah, we know where we'd be if it ended today, but we also know it's not ending today.
Right.
So they've got to continue to play the type of ball that put them in the spot where they're number 1 in their conference.
All right, Charles, we've spoken about this offense plenty, how great they've been all year. 9-0 now, into the back half of the season. Super Bowl favorites, without a doubt. I think everyone agrees on that. What do you think is the thing that most stands between them and a perfect season?
I think it's themselves. I think it's their team, how they approach things, how they conduct themselves during the week, practicing, getting ready, and then going out and playing. Can't take your foot off the gas pedal at this stage. Doesn't matter if it's a weak team you're playing or not. Look, when I talk with one of the best golfers of all time, he told me he never played against the field. He just played against himself and his own standard. So many times we see teams go on the road and want to lean on their running game, but this crew just announced they're going to try and air it out and make hay downfield.
Allen will look to throw for it on 4th. Slings this deep from McLaurin. Looking for McLaurin, and he's got him. Touchdown, Washington. Terry McLaurin with touchdown number 8 on the year. And Washington able to stretch that lead out even further. In today's NFL, we talk about quarterbacks and their speed and accuracy, but there's still something about a guy slinging one downfield.
And as that ball was hanging in the air with the receiver streaking downfield to meet it, here in the stadium, you could just sense the crowd thinking, oh, no. And their worst fears were realized as that one turned into a long touchdown.
Slide for the PAT. And it's good, and they have jumped out here to a quick 14-0 first quarter lead. Just a 4-play drive that time. And it was polished off by a Washington touchdown. Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. Now Abdullah, the return. And he had no room to run as he's tackled down inside the 20. This Carolina offense at the line, ready to go. To this point, the results have not been good. 2 possessions, 2 turnovers.
And that's obviously something that can't continue, but to go a little bit deeper on that one, I would think about some play calls now, not even necessarily to my best player, but to someone I can trust with the ball. Try and get things settled down a little bit.
So 1st and 10 now from the 30. Now Newton. Got his man, Robbie Anderson. 7 yards, the pickup there.
Defensively here, you're facing a top 5 team in terms of points scored in the NFL. So when they're that high-powered, you've got to find a way to hold them under 20. Because to me, that's the magic number. 20 points scored gives yourself you give yourself your best chance to win.
And the Washington pressure gets to him. He will go down. Montez Sweat in there to drop him for his 11th sack of the year. Well, last game he had 2 sacks. Got another one here picked up right where he left off.
Brandon, he spent the entire offseason working on new moves, new techniques, trying to add to his arsenal of pass rush moves. Certainly paying dividends in what we've seen so far.
So now Cam leads the Panthers up following the sack. Carolina facing 3rd and long.
No, check that. We're on Mike 52, right?
Throwing is Newton. And he'll be hit as he releases it, and that'll fall incomplete.
I know this offense was expecting to do big things, but it certainly hasn't turned out that way, at least not through the first 3 drives. They're definitely going to have to put their heads together and start concocting some offense that'll move the ball downfield.
And this one will not be returnable as it sails out of bounds. So here is Washington now to take over. They are working on that very impressive 9-game win streak, looking to get it to 10 as they've got the lead here, 1st and 10. Here's Allen to throw it. And that is caught on the right sideline, but out of bounds, says the line judge. The throw. Ron Rivera scowling down on the sideline, and he's thrown out the red challenge flag.
The previous play is under review.
Did he keep those feet in bounds? That's the question they've got to decide. And I got to say, watching it in real time, it was awfully close.
Yeah, it certainly looked like a heck of a catch because he didn't appear to bobble it, which could complicate things. But even with the benefit of replay, that's pretty tight.
Well, here's the call.
After review of the play, the ruling on the field is reversed.
So for Ron Rivera, challenging that call turns out to be the right decision. They'll run on 1st down. It's Gibson. And he's going to get a solid gain of 9 before being brought down. 2nd and right at a yard. He was well over 100 yards last week. He told us this week, a little ambitious, said he wants to hit that 200 mark. We'll see.
Makes sense, though, doesn't it? Have we ever run into a running back that had a great game the week before that didn't think that's just going to naturally continue? Just make sure you feed me the football. And that's what they're all about. Continuity, rhythm, number of carries. Just keep giving it to them.
Now, after the running play, we've got a man down on the field. We'll check on his status when we get back. From the 13 now, they work on 1st and 10. On the draw, it's Gibson. And this will leave him a yard short. Nice pickup of 9 yards on 1st down. Well, they're making a real first-quarter statement with a run game, no doubt.
For those who remember old-school football, running it, establishing things, seeing backs find holes, get through them, they've got to like what they're seeing from this unit so far. Right now, they've decided to, as you said, establish the run game, and they've been successful doing it.
$14-0 the score. This is the NFL on EA Sports. Washington with the football here to begin quarter number 2 as they go to work on a 1st and goal. Gibson. And he fights his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Washington. Antonio Gibson becoming just the 2nd player with 30 touchdowns in a single year. And Washington is able to stretch their lead. Just power football there down near the goal line. Give it to him. He's able to push his way across.
Yeah, they went heavy there. Sometimes you have those big offensive linemen come in, have to report like they're eligible. But all they're doing is getting a good stance, blocking, and getting their runner across the goal line.
Extra point by Sly is up and good. And that makes the score 21-0. So that drive spanned 5 plays. And it ends with a 3-yard scoring run. The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. There again is the running back as he trots onto the field. You can count his carries on one finger. They've only given him the rock one time, Charles. What gives?
So we can't draw any conclusions just yet. He has to touch the ball multiple times in order to get into a rhythm. And
he's taken down, trying to do a little too much, getting outside of the pocket, and it results in a sack. Daron Payne in there to get him, and that is sack number 6 now for him on the year. This offense continues to shoot themselves in the foot. Here, another sack.
All game long, we've seen missed assignments, which have led to turnovers, sacks. This group has not played well at all here in the first half.
After the sack, it's 2nd and 19, and the road gets a bit tougher from here. Here's Newton. Under pressure again, and down he goes again. Jonathan Allen in there to get him, and on the season now, that is 9 sacks for him. So now Cam leads the Panthers up following the sack. Carolina facing 3rd and long. Newton now to throw. He's going to look deep for more. It got his man complete. And he's free going down the left side. It's a foot race. And he's a long ways into Washington territory before hitting the turf. A big play there for Carolina. A real field flipper there as all of a sudden they've got a first down in the red zone. Out of the gun, here's the give to Hubbard. And just a couple yards there down to the 17.
Vision is so important for the man in the middle because his ability to look through all the clutter that's happening in front of him, diagnose a play, and then go make it and finish it, that's when the great ones know that they have the goods.
And he works his way past the line of scrimmage and then slides to a halt. It's just a gain of a couple there on the scramble, and now it's 3rd down.
Now, how about that play? He took a possible negative and turned it into positive yardage and slid down to avoid taking a big shot. Excellent job getting down and avoiding the big hit.
Well, instead of 4th down after the incompletion, it'll be 1st down, roughing the passer.
Coaches love their defenses to be aggressive, but they want them to be smart as well. Have to leave the quarterback alone at a certain point.
So a critical mistake, roughing the passer. Now it's 1st and goal. Newton. Escaping the pressure right. It won't be a sack, but it's no gain, and it brings up 2nd down. Now it's Newton. And he's going to be brought down just shy of the 5 at the 6. They get only a yard there. Now it's 3rd and goal.
That might feel like a little bit of a lost opportunity there for the offense because the defense brought pressure that time. And sometimes against that, you can get out to your running back, and it could turn into a big gain downfield. But what a nice job they did getting to him quickly and holding him to a short gain.
Meanwhile, on 3rd down, they take a shot at the end zone, but it's incomplete.
They converted twice on 3rd down that drive already, but couldn't make it a 3rd. We always talk about in-game adjustments. How about what the defense did there, able to shut them down on that attempt?
A reminder, once we hit halftime, as we do all season, we'll send it down to Jonathan Coachman in Orlando. He'll have all the stats and scores from games in progress around the NFL.
The best multitasker in the business, the coach.
And a nice return sets him up pretty good here right at the 30-yard line. Antonio Gibson and the Washington offense ready to go here once more. And he's well on his way to a 100-yard game. He's already more than halfway there. We're only in the 2nd quarter.
And what I've always loved about running backs is they'll tell you, I had no idea how many yards I had.
Right.
Those guys have an innate sense of where they are in a ball game and how many yards they've accumulated because you know they're always working towards 100.
He's been working well towards 100 here. And he's brought down after a very nice gain. 79 yards rushing for him as he has been tough to stop here this first half.
Outside handoff to the right side. If you're a running back, you love getting the ball early so you have vision to see what's happening in front of you.
Right tackle likes that call. Big play for him, but don't forget about the guys you always tell me on the backside sealing off.
Where they talk about cutoff blocks, making sure no one can leak from the backside that can run a play down.
And nobody leaked. Big play. Back-to-back good plays have them on the move on 1st down. Allen's throw complete there to Thomas. Touchdown, Washington! Logan Thomas with his 2nd TD of the game, his 6th on the year. And Washington going to add on to their lead.
For a big tight end, he can sure move like a slot receiver when he gets a head of steam going. And as a defensive back, you've got a big decision to make when he's moving like that.
Now Joey Sly for the point after. And they open the lead up now to 25 points. So they only needed 3 plays on that drive. And the result, a touchdown for Washington. Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. Time for our players spotlight, and it focuses in here on Cam Newton. And I guess the question, Charles, is what's the formula for keeping him better protected? Because as we see, the protection, it struggled.
And normally what you get is renewed determination. When the big guy gets hit, that usually sparks people. Hey, we can't let this happen anymore. They take it personally. He's not supposed to be on the ground, but that hasn't been the case so far in this game. So maybe they've got to figure out how do they get rid of the ball faster to help out the offensive line so he doesn't get hit as much.
And we'll see if they can keep him off the ground now going forward. And now a throw on first down there, but it's incomplete. Throwing again on 2nd and 10. Newton, they'll run the screen with Hubbard. And he'll get this from the 25 to the 30 for a pickup of 5. Now the Panthers going to use the first of their timeouts as they get the stoppage with a little over 50 seconds to go in the first half. Now a 3rd down throw, but it misses the target, incomplete. Here's Chris Jones now as he'll kick it away for the 2nd time. That's pulled in at the 32. 35 yards that time on the punt. And out will come the offense as they take over. Out there set and ready for this next drive, the Washington offense. And with good starting field position and 3 timeouts as well in their pocket, no reason not to try and put a late scoring drive together. 7 yards, the pickup there.
In so many ways, throwing the hitch route is actually one of the safer things an offense can do. Get the ball out to the receiver as fast as possible, hope he's got man-to-man coverage, and hope that his athleticism wins on the perimeter.
And that's incomplete. Clock stops with 10 seconds left.
And I think they'd be well served to take that type of a physical approach against him the rest of the game. He's had his way so far, but on that last one, that worked quite well for the defense.
He'll air this one out deep for Sims. And at the 7-yard line, the catch is made. Now a timeout called with 3 seconds to go. And, of course, they're in field goal range in the final seconds of this first half. They'll try to run with Gibson. And he's in for the score. And his spectacular season continues as he ties the NFL touchdown record.
He is phenomenal. And that's a lead that excites a team as they head into the half. Good way to finish things off.
Yeah, able to extend that lead, and you always say it, that can totally change the complexion of half number 2.
Yeah, it changes your morale, changes your outlook. But even before that, let's see if they decide to kind of squib kick or what they're going to do on the kickoff, because you don't want to give up a big play right before the half ends.
Good point. The extra point by Sly is up and good, and the lead will swell by 1 more. So that drive, 4 plays, and it's culminated by a 2-yard touchdown run. So still time for the kickoff here. 1 second to go in the half as this one is away. Now Abdullah, the return.
Let's go.
So we have come upon halftime, and it's the visiting group from Washington who are out on top. As we'll send you down the coast now to Orlando, that's where we find Jonathan Coachman, ready with our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
All right, Brandon, thanks very much. Things starting to get interesting in this final weekend before Thanksgiving.
So let's see what's going on around the NFL. We'll get started up at Lincoln Financial Field in Philly. And at the half, that one pretty one-sided. 23-7 is the score. A touchdown there for Alvin Kamara. From there, it's up to Highmark Stadium to check in on the Bills. And you can see there it's the visiting Colts who have the lead in that one. Zach Pascal, a touchdown reception. Finally, we finish at MetLife Stadium to see what's going on with the Jets. And right now, they have the lead over the visiting Dolphins. Keelan Cole, a touchdown reception. On now to a look at the next-gen stats in that first half for Washington. And the ground game has been a big part of why they have this big lead. And you have to figure they'll lean on it a little bit more in the third and fourth quarters. Meanwhile, for the Panthers, there's a look at what they were able to do throwing the football. And they'll need to get things in gear as they trail here at the break. Final adjustments being made for the second half. Whether they'll amount to much in a game that's already pretty well decided, well, that's another question. Nevertheless, let's get you back out to Brandon and Charles.
Okay, Coach, thanks. Yeah, that's something to consider. Are we in for more one-way traffic here in the second half? It has not been a competitive game to this point. And no run back here as the third quarter will commence with a touchback. The Washington offense ready to go to begin the third quarter. And last time out, another touchdown, and I think there may be some empty seats around here by the time the fourth quarter comes around.
Yeah, I have to agree with you because this one's just about decided. But you know who benefits from all those empty seats? You and me, trying to get to the airport.
That's
the roads
true.
will be fairly clear by the time we have to leave the booth.
Meanwhile, they take a shot to start the drive, but this is going to wind up incomplete. And he will lose yardage here back at the 23-yard line. 2 yards the loss, and now 3rd and 12.
When a draw works, it can be a thing of beauty. But when it doesn't, oh, it can be ugly. And in this case, loss of yardage ugly.
And oh, that's going to wind up incomplete. Nearly their first pick of the game, but it does bring up 4th down. On 4th down, the punt team is on as this is sent away. And it's going to be a short field to work with after this one. It's touchdown at the 45-yard line. The Panthers offense now, they head back on the field for their first possession of the second half. They have been struggling. I would imagine at halftime they went through some possible changes. Well, those changes aren't working, so now where do you go?
I think that now it's much more in their head. And what I mean by that is just what you said. You've gone over the changes. I bet they were pretty clinical at the half, not too emotional. They might need to go to the emotional side because you've got...
And he cannot avoid the pressure as the Washington pass rush gets home. Jonathan Allen has now recorded 10 sacks on the season. So now Cam leads the Panthers up following the sack. Carolina facing 3rd and long. Out of the gun, Newton. Throw left side complete. That's Moore. And he gets this only to the 44-yard line. Not near enough to keep the drive alive. It'll be a gain of 8, but it'll also lead to a 4th down. So look at this. Here's the field goal unit coming out. And he is going to need to bomb this one. And this will be spotted on the other side of the field. It's a 61-yard attempt. And this kick is not going to be close. It's well short, well right to boot. And this score will stay right where it is. That would have been from way downtown. Pretty big roll of the dice, and he comes up a bit short.
Yeah, you knew when you saw the holder setting up on the other side of the 50 that this was going to be a long shot. But to me, there's really no loss here because you've shown confidence in him. Kicking it from a long distance, that'll pay dividends. And the miss, you can shake that one off. It wasn't likely to make it in the first place.
On 1st down, Allen. And his throw's going to be incomplete.
I think he's got to be careful not to force anything into coverage right there. There weren't really any throwing lanes. But the best part for him, he's got 2nd and 3rd down to fall back on.
On 2nd and 10, Allen taking a shot for Samuel. And that almost their first INT of the ball game. Had his sights on it, but he couldn't seal the deal. Now they face a 3rd and 10 after back-to-back incompletions. Now Allen. And that's going to wind up incomplete. Nearly their first pick of the game, but it does bring up 4th down.
They certainly had good starting field position on that drive, but couldn't do anything with it after 3 plays. Have to admit that that's a disappointing end to excellent field position. When that drive started, they had 6 points that they were thinking about.
Allen going to go on 4th down. And that is incomplete. Ron Rivera, the gambling type, but he comes up empty here. And the Panthers will get the football back. The Panthers out there and ready to begin their next drive. On 1st down, they'll start out with Hubbard. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. He'll lose a yard there, and it's 2nd and 11.
Yes, indeed. That play there, that reminds me of some of the guys that I played with. They have that suddenness, able to get into the backfield almost about the time the ball snapped and make a play. How about that tackle for a loss?
Absolutely. He did a lot of that last week when he was named the NFC Defensive Player of the Week. One of the guys on the team was saying, hey, yeah, we called him the disruptor. And that's carrying forward again.
Makes sense, doesn't it?
Now a pass hauled in downfield. And they'll get this well past midfield before being stopped just before the 35. A big connection on that one. 30 yards. So how about that for a chain mover? They're all the way down inside the 40 now for 1st and 10. Yeah, boy, this defense again really making things tough on him as they stop him for no gain. Officially nothing on that last run. They'll try again 2nd and 10. Right back to Hubbard. 5 yards. Now it's 3rd and 5.
And there we saw one of the downsides of blitzing during a rundown, because sometimes you get out of your gaps. You don't fit the run quite as well because you're headed towards the ball carrier with abandon.
No, check that. We want Mike 52 right here.
From the gun, here's Newton. He's going to air one out for Anderson. And it's intercepted at the goal line. Picked by Kendall Fuller. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back. This defense, Charles, coming up with another interception. They have really done an excellent job of locking up these receivers.
Yeah, they're really on fire. They are actually doing what they talk about all the time, which is plastering to receivers when they're in their zones. They didn't give up a touchdown in the first half. Haven't done so here in this half either. Blanketed the field going all the way back to the opening drive, and they come up with a pick right there.
The last run good for 2. Here's 2nd and 8. On play action, Allen. And he will find his man, Samuel. And now off to the races down the right side. And he'll take this into the end zone. Now, hold on here. We do have a flag down. So let's see what this is about.
Pass interference. Defense.
And yes, they want the points, so they will decline the penalty, no question there.
You don't think they spent a couple of seconds mulling over what the penalty would do for them?
I don't even know why they asked the sideline.
Not at all. When you put the ball in the end zone on a takeaway, take the points and keep moving.
Sly on for the extra point. And the lead grows even larger here in the 3rd quarter. And we're back now in Charlotte. And that is going to do it for this 3rd quarter of action. You are watching the NFL on EA Sports. Now Abdullah, the return. And he's up across the 25 and down at the 28. This Carolina offense at the line, ready to go. And they, unfortunately, are staring at a mini losing streak developing, trailing here in the 4th quarter. This would be their 3rd straight. And his pass is intercepted for the 4th time today. Picked by Kendall Fuller. And he will bring this one back. It is a pick 6 for a Washington touchdown. That's the story of the game. They've been suffocating all game long on defense. They were suffocating there again in a big way.
And they've done it not just by out-athleting them, which is often the case, but by being able to adjust to anything they tried to throw at them and beating them to the punch each and every time. This was a defense that was well prepared.
Extra point by Sly is up and good, and that will extend this big lead. So they'll get another shot on offense following that pick six, and now the kick is away. Now Abdullah, the return. And he'll get it up across the 20 to the 21-yard line. Defensively, you said coming in earlier in the broadcast, the magic number was 20 points for you. That's what you thought they would have to hold this offense to, or less than that. And, wow, they've done that in a big way, haven't they?
Not only have they done it, they put themselves in a great position to win this one because holding them down was paramount. If they could get it done, well, guess what? We see the end result. Right now, they have their eye on victory.
And leading here in the fourth. From the 30 on second down, Newton. And the Washington pressure gets to him. He will go down. Deron Payne, he's the one to get him, and that is sack number 7 for him on the year. And you could say that is just another cherry on top for this defense, that entire team. But really, this defense has sparked what's been an impressive effort here in this one.
And I notice you used the word sparked because you're not seeing that on the other side of the ball, are you? The offense right now, the spark has left their game, and it's been because of what you described, that defensive pressure.
Here's Chris Jones now, standing just outside his own goal line. Taken on the midfield. Now a hit and a loose football. And it's picked up by the Panthers. There he goes, right side. And they will finally stop him, but a great return. Gets that football all the way down to the 16-yard line.
I remember sitting in special teams meetings, and at some point during the meeting, the coach would always say, you better treat this one just like you're playing offense or defense. It's a big part.
And now the red flag out on the field. We'll have a challenge forthcoming.
Previous play is under review.
And we'll get a moment here as they look this one over.
Yeah, remember now, the call on the field is what they'll stick with unless they have clear video evidence to the contrary. And I give these officials a lot of credit. Such a tough and demanding job. You and I both know that. Yeah, they make the right call way more often than they get it wrong.
So that challenge not successful there, and that's going to cost him the first of his timeouts. Throwing to start the drive, but that one incomplete.
That incompletion is not a surprise with the way that this one has gone, and the frustration, the body language is evident everywhere. This team, they've really been put through the ringer in this one.
On second down now, it's Hubbard. And once again, not much running room, if any at all. Officially nothing on that one, no gain, so they're left with still 10 to go on third down. And they'll go again here with Hubbard. And they're going to drop him well shy of the first as he can only make it to the 11. It's a gain of 5 on the play, and it'll bring up a fourth down. Gonzalez out now to try the Panther field goal. Gonzalez's kick is good. And they'll get back 3, but this remains a large deficit. Well, in the grand scheme of things, those 3 points likely not going to matter much, but I guess they get a little closer, a little more respectability.
Yeah, you're exactly right. They've been outplayed all game long, but like my mom used to tell me all the time before I went out, dress up a little bit, son. Make yourself respectable. And that's what they're doing here. They're just dressing up the final score.
And a good return as he'll be stopped just shy of the 30-yard line. Out there set and ready for this next drive, the Washington offense. And it's all but certain that this win streak is going to extend another week. Just another tremendous performance in this one. They're going to snuff this play out behind the line. We have not seen that much today. Call it a full 3 yards in the wrong direction there. Brings up second down. Allen off the play fake. This will be caught. It's Samuel. And nothing but green grass is here, middle of the field. And they are going to score again. Yet another touchdown as they just add to their totals.
Well, we know that he can beat you in a number of ways. He can catch it short, he can take it long, or he can do what we just saw right there, catch it and then run with the football.
And I think this is what the early proponents of the forward pass were thinking about. Get it to a receiver and have him do some work afterwards in order to create the big play we just saw there.
And you can see the distance traveled there after the catch on the next-gen stats. Slide for the PAT.
Now this one was over a while ago as they just add on to their big lead. The long touchdown pass gets them 6 on a very, very tidy 2-play drive that time. The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback.
The possession of the football goes over to Carolina.
Their drive last time, it stalled out. They were forced to take the short field goal.
And the key phrase, you nailed it. Forced to, because you know coaches look at these short field goals as a last resort, right? To them, that's not how drives are supposed to end. You're supposed to put 6 on the board. That's a consolation prize. Like going to the county fair, you don't get the big stuffed animal on that one, do you?
No, you don't go top shelf. That's bottom shelf material. Now this one over the middle into the hands of his tight end, complete. And we are inside of 2 minutes left in this lopsided affair. So it's Panther football as we welcome you back. They're looking at second down now as they search for a consolation score. From the 45 on second down, Newton, and he drops it incomplete. And their struggles continue here. So the incomplete pass on the last play, and that leads us to a 3rd and 3. To the air again, Newton. He's going to let it fly. And that will be incomplete. Well, they weren't scared to let it fly, but it falls to the ground and brings up 4th down.
This defense was definitely alert to the possibility of the deep ball, and they were more than ready for it.
They've got the lead, 4th quarter. Maybe can expect more passes like that downfield. He'll look to set up his blockers. And he'll have this past the 30 prior to going out of bounds.
A very good kick there, but 15 yards on the return. And it will be Washington football now with a 1st and 10. Now we get another look at Washington on offense. And a few kneel downs should just about do it. Now defensively they do have all 3 timeouts, but very little reason to use them at this point. Found a little room there as he's up to about the 37. 113 yards rushing for him now with a couple of touchdown runs to boot. On second down, here's Gibson again.
A nice little juke. Still staying on his feet. Are you serious?
And he'll be taken down, but not before he works it past the 50.
Well, that's a carry they have to be satisfied with. And throughout this game, they've been satisfied with what he's given them. Whenever they've needed a big run, a 1st down, he's the guy they've turned to. And it doesn't matter what the defense thinks. They feel like they've got the confidence to keep handing it to him and keep picking up good yardage.
On 1st down, Gibson. And he can only manage to get a couple. 2nd and 8 coming up.
And the big fella stuffed that one up in a big way. I think doubling him has to be a priority because you can't move up to the next level if you don't take care of him first.
On 2nd down, it's Gibson. Just a couple on the pickup there, and now it's 3rd down.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is a force of nature at the defensive tackle position. Yes, he's as big as they come, but still plenty agile. He's able to make a nice play there to swallow up the ball carrier.
Throwing is Allen on 3rd. And off his back foot, he'll heave this one deep. And it's incomplete. Still throwing to the very end, but now this game is over. Well, Charles, it's one thing to win. It's another thing to win and put up the amount of points that they did. Boy, were they clicking on offense.
They can't help but feel great about themselves, can they? I mean, what a game to put up that number of points, continually feeling like they're moving the ball and things are working and clicking. They think that they can bottle this and carry it with them.
And as an offensive coordinator, you just don't think you can do anything wrong. Whatever you call, run, pass, it's all going to work.
That's called being in the zone.
So for Washington,
they keep on rolling 10-0 now to start the year. And they will head home next week to take on the Seattle Seahawks. Meanwhile, for the Panthers, it's a loss that sets them back in their playoff push as they fall to 6-5. And they'll look to regroup next week as they head down to Miami to take on the Dolphins.